Where?
Right there on that pole, that light pole.
Yeah, I see it. Okay, so here we are at Senator Portantino's office. I'm now going live. Senator Portantino represents the Glendale, San Dimas, San Gabriel Valley area as a state senator. We are here demanding that he oppose AB 2943. Can I say in there? Miss Gish, thank you. And both of them, absolutely. We're here with MassResistance. This is the California chapter. We are here to stop legislation that would essentially ban the Bible. It would outlaw reproductive therapy, which has set countless lives free. Men and women have sought help to break free of same-sex issues and gender dysphoria, and to ban the practice, to ban this very effective therapy would condemn countless lives to a lifetime of depression and even suicide. The suicide rate amongst individuals with gender dysphoria is 40%, 40. To pass this legislation would essentially kill hurting people who are just trying to get help. People should have every right to speak to whomever they want to or need to. All right, we have about 14 people with us already, and we have a couple more people who are on the way. The traffic is absolutely terrible in this part of the county. So, and there's
static impact utopia.
Yep, that's it. We've got the entire cultural Marxist agenda against us here in California. Destruction of family, destruction of private property, destruction of life, destruction of freedom of speech, the destruction of the recognition of God's goodness in a fallen world. All right, folks, we're on our way. All right, we have people who will be late, so they'll just have to call in. All right.
Two.
All right, so here we go. This is the kind of thing that we need people doing all over the state. You need to be going to your state senators' offices. You need to be giving them a lot of grief and a lot of heat. Everybody should be opposed to this. This shouldn't even advance anywhere. This shouldn't have gotten this far. It's absolutely terrible. Okay, here we are. Interesting, we have Healing Angels Hospice. Okay. Well, at least they still recognize male and female with the the bathrooms. Okay, here we are at the state senator's office.
Another door.
Another door, and it's locked.
Yeah.
Right. All right, thank you so much. Okay, I hope there's enough room. Oh, okay, well, life is good. Okay.
I'm sorry, what is this?
Yes, I have my camera. Yes, I'm one of the individuals. Yes. Excuse me. Okay. Thank you.
I love them because I don't like putting makeup on.
Sure.
I just put my face makeup.
I'd like to have a seat.
We can put some more chairs
Two.
in here.
It's okay. Okay. You need to sit, right? Do you want to be
Not
up? You're okay.
I can squeeze myself in.
Just as long as I'm not a fire hazard.
Well, yeah, one has to be on that.
Okay. Well, God knows there's so many things I could say. Let me see your signs, guys.
Would you like a chair? I feel terrible. Are you sure?
Thank you, Sherry. Hold on, let me take a quick photo.
Well, welcome everyone. My name's Tali Mangiolu. I'm the district director for Senator Anthony Portantino. My job today is to listen to all of you folks, take your concerns, messages back to the member. This is,
I'm
introduce
Jonathan.
yourself.
I'm an intern for the summer. So.
All right.
So he's learning firsthand what it's like. Who'd like to go first?
I'd like to invite the constituents to go first. I was thinking by alphabetical order. So we have Sherry. Would you like to go first, please? By first name.
I would just like to say that this bill is so unconstitutional and so unfair to a lot of people, not just the people that are hurting, but the people that can help. And they go for help, and it doesn't cost anything, and it's in every community. We must have at least 2 million Christians in our state. And I just really feel that this is an assault on so many, and for help, for absolute help for the individual that has been hurt maybe a child, confused, and wants to talk about it. So where would they go? They would go to a pastor. I really feel like this is overreaching. Thank you.
Thank
Why
you.
don't we just go in order that way from now on? Judy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Judy Neal, from San Dimas, and.
That would be really helpful too, if, I mean, whether you're
Yeah.
from the district or not, we're still listening to you, but I'd really like to know who all is in the room
There it is.
geographically, yeah.
So Sherry, where are you from? What city?
Inglewood.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I got involved in this because, right now I am dealing with a granddaughter who feels as though she'd rather be a boy. The minute she was put into therapy, rather than consulting with the parents, consulting with anyone else, they immediately wanted to throw her into hormone therapy. Luckily, they're not in California, they're in another state. And so the parents were able to go in and say, hey, let's sit down as a family, let's try and work this out. Let's try and get this before you go over the deep end and start taking all the hormone therapy.
And how old is your granddaughter?
She's 16. She's 16. Now, the problem that I'm having is this interferes with our individual rights as people to seek out therapy. She is not running from therapy. She wants to understand why she feels this way. And for me, it's something I'm having a very hard time dealing with. You know, I am a full-blown heterosexual. I don't understand the mindset. But to deny them the opportunity to seek out some sort of guidance, some sort of therapy that would help them understand which way do they want to go. I know that, you know, there's extremes to what's happening out in our communities. But right now, I just feel as though, one, this destroys our First Amendment rights for choice. Destroys it. Number two, I've never had problems with homosexuals, but when they start wanting to dictate what I, as a heterosexual, can do and say, that's overstepping their bounds.
Yep.
Our legislators are not God. They are there to represent the people. And for me, they are overstepping their bounds. It's personal for me. And I just think that our legislator needs to step back and understand that they do not have the authority to come into our homes and dictate how we handle family problems. Thank you.
I understand.
Hi, I'm Lenny Drolet, and I actually live in Rancho Cucamonga. I'm here today because I know my senator already would never vote for this bill. He's never voted to take away my First Amendment rights. This is something that takes away from every citizen in California their right to speak and act as they see fit. And it's just flat out wrong, as well as unconstitutional. And this will never stand up in the Supreme Court. So this is a waste of time and energy and money. So from that basis, I would say that
I understand that Senator has been active in stalling this in the Senate, and I am very thankful for that. And I hope he continues to do that, and that it doesn't reach the Senate floor for a vote. And the reason is this. Everybody here, you know, our families are families. We're the core. And that core, when our families, we don't distinguish. You're a core of family because you are heterosexual. And we don't exclude. I have a stepbrother that is the most wonderful person in the world. And he is so gay that it's all capital letters. But he is so loved. And I'll tell you what, yes, he has gone through some trials in his life, But he is the first one to step up and say, if I want to be accepted as equal, then I must act as equal. And every time the state gives me special privilege, it makes me different. And so when I look at this, and I hear his voice, and I see what he has contributed all over, I have to say, that takes this family unit. And if you're dealing with gay people, transgenders, that whole LGBT thing, you need the support and love of your family. And if the state comes in and puts a division in that, are you not going to feel even more isolated? Are you not going to feel even more that you are so different? And you will feel like, how am I going to be part of this family because now I am very different? When you go to church and you say, I can't even talk to the pastor about what I'm thinking or feeling, then he's been denied something that the rest of us can all do. I can go to my pastor and say, you know, Jack, I'm feeling these feelings. I'm feeling lonely, or I'm feeling this, or I'm feeling that, or I think my husband's having an affair. And I can get counsel, but he can't. That's denying him something so very basic. And the state now is making that decision for him. And that is, when I'm sitting here, it's not just about, we don't want them. It's completely the opposite. We want to embrace. We want them to be, we want to be one unit. And they should have equal opportunities. And every time we do this, we slice that equal opportunity away from them. This bill also infringes on our First Amendment rights, that we have the right to worship as we see. We have the right to believe in the doctrine of the religion we choose. And this bill goes completely against it. And right now, California, they may have wanted to secede from this nation, but it is still a part of the United States. And we still have that First Amendment right. And I'm the first one to tell you, if someone comes to me and says, help me, I just need to speak, I will speak from where God teaches me and where God leads me. And if ever I'm arrested, you can rest assured that's going to be a really big problem. So what I'm saying to him, to the senator, is this: don't be myopic. Look at who put this out there, and look at the reasons behind it. What do to look at them with compassion, understanding, and truly want a solution. Leave it alone. And I honestly, I can say this word: I beg the senator to stand firm, to stand with a spine, to say, no, this bill is not right, and to do it openly and aggressively. That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
I'm Robin Bidston, and I'm from the farthest east end of this district in another county, Upland. It's quite a trek for me to come to this office. I know there's an office in Tampa.
Thank you for the effort.
Thank you. I would just echo what was said here. This is about individual rights, family, love, being able to work within your own family as you see fit for those members of your family. And I like to also point out, it has been said by pastors, they don't actively seek for these individuals to come and meet with them. They come to them. In this bill, can you imagine the position a pastor is in with this bill? So that's just not right. That is not common sense. And we would like to see a Democrat. I'm a Republican. My senator is a Democrat. But we'd like to see some Democrat legislators have the courage, and it would take courage, I understand, Sacramento, to officially oppose this legislation in the name of the rights of the citizens in the state and the rights of those that they supposedly are legislating on behalf. You know, everyone is not the same, and this bill does not allow for individual freedom, rights, and freedom of speech. Thank you. And thank you for meeting with us today. We really appreciate it. I'm the one that emailed you.
Oh, good to know who I've been
Yeah,
going
Yeah.
back and forth with.
So, thank you very much for meeting with us, and we do appreciate the time.
Just so you folks know, I mean, this is not the first group I've met with.
Good.
There's been several different groups. I've had a group of pastors voicing the exact same thing. I've actually had grandparents, a group of grandparents come in. I've also had, I've had someone who was gay, who had converted, who'd gone back, and she voiced her experience and the support. So I just want you to know, it is being heard.
Thank you.
My name is Deanne Deline. I'm from Apple Valley. And this is it's already unconstitutional in light of the U.S. Supreme Court ruling. It states it right here in the papers that we have. Now, first it's this, and the next thing it's going to be something else, like maybe religion or something being outlawed. My daughter is pagan. I don't want her to have her be Christian like
I'm just
I am.
showing you
But this
what
is
she's
what
looking at.
she's decided to do.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
One of my daughters is pagan, and you know, it's Wicca, witchcraft, whatever. And so I read everything she was reading, because I wanted to know what was this all about. And it could be, you know, her next, her religion, or anybody's religion. It's just a stepping stone to embrace us into the way these other people want to believe. And definitely it goes against our First Amendment rights. And if they can push this and get it in, they're going to push for probably freedom of religion and try to dominate us and make us corralled into one religion, like we got away from when we moved. A lot of people moved away from England at the very beginning of our country. And we got to defend this. We got to defend this. We got to defend their right to go to a pastor if they want to and want to have help this way, or a psychologist, psychiatrist who will help them with their decision. And I taught for many years, and every once in a while I ran across students who were confused. But I would tell them, talk with their parents, and if you go to church, talk with your church about this. And that I'm not supposed to be helping them politically or even in this way. And that's how I feel about it, and I feel about just the way everybody else has been talking about it.
Thank you for coming out all the way from Apple Valley.
You're welcome.
You mind if I go next, Rob?
Yeah, go ahead.
I keep with the, it's already filmed, you just gotta hold it down. My name is Gary Galeno, so Gileno. I live in West Covina, and next week I'll be visiting my senator. I just wanted to tag along today, just to get a little feel for, you know, how this goes. I am a proud Christian, and I am deeply offended that the Word of God is under threat, that our legislators think that they're so all-powerful and mighty that they could even conceive something like this. And that's kind of the direction I want to take from my point of view, is in our society, there are all these groups, you know, we're all being split off into groups, whether it be LGBT or Muslim or whatever, and these groups are a super minority in our society. They're not that represented in terms of numbers, yet everything that is going on is catering to not offending these people. And in the process, we are offending the majority of the population. My wife just started a new job, and at her job, she had to go through LGBT sensitivity training, which she found offensive, because she had to be taught how to not offend certain people at her job, which offended her. And I just kind of just lost my train of thought. But I guess the point I want to iterate is, you know, people like me, we're constantly being called bigots. Yet there's all this anti-Christian bigotry going on in society. And I think instead of all this sensitivity training, I think some of these people need anti-Christianity training, or anti-Christianity sensitivity training. because we are the majority. It is a Christian nation,
Yes.
and it's going to stay a Christian nation. And I just, I am of the belief that you be treated the way you treat people the way you want to be treated. And we should not be offending the masses to cater to a small group of people so that they're not offended. So that's all I wanted to say.
That's what
Thank you.
Jesus said first.
Yeah, I know, the
Follow
golden
this
rule.
one rule. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Raul Rodriguez Jr., and I'm California Coordinator for America First Latinos. And the reason why I'm here is because I want to be able to voice my opinion. The Constitution gives everyone here that right to be able to speak our mind. And it is unconstitutional. On June 26, 2018, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled under NAFLA versus Becerra that the government cannot create a professional speech category that has less protection than the First Amendment. So it's important that we, as Americans, speak out. This is why we're here. We're exercising our First Amendment right. Under our Constitution, we have the right to do that. We live in a republic, not a democracy. This is a republic, and it's stated in the Constitution. And a number of politicians and people always say this is a democracy. It isn't. It's a republic. And it's important that we make a mention of that because we do live in a republic. This is why we have the right to be here and to be able to talk to you so that you can pass this information on to Anthony Portantino. And it's important that he understands where we, each one of us, feel about this. I am a proud Christian, proud American. I was born here, and I'm going to continue fighting these types of battles against elected officials who do not want to do their job of representing American citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Wendy Gish. I live in San Dimas. I grew up in the Midwest, and I was a tomboy from the word go. I spent a lot of time out at my aunt and uncle's farm, laying in the fields, playing in the dirt. Forget a doll. Absolutely. I still don't have dolls. Didn't have dolls as I grew up. But here's the thing. I'm still a girl. I went through all of wanting to be a boy, found out, I'm not. But the mindset was there because I played with the trucks. I did everything the boys did. I played football till I was in 6th grade with the boys. But in today's society, I would be labeled as a transgender. That's not correct. But also, I was allowed to go through that. My parents allowed me to go through all of that, and I'm sure it drove them crazy, because I'm very strong-willed. But they taught me to brush my teeth, take a shower, do all those things. But now, I don't have children, but I'm going to stand up for the parents. They are not going to be allowed to allow their children to work through this. What right does the state of California and the senators of this state to take away parental, God-given rights? What right? Because in my book, no one has that right. And you're now taking those freedoms away from parents. Your parents, didn't they teach you not to steal? Did they teach you to love your neighbor? Mine did. I have cousins. I disagree with them on their choice of lifestyle, but I tell you what, somebody comes and tries to kill them, I will be the first one that steps in. I don't care that they're gay, lesbian, or anything else. They're family. That's the bottom line. No legislator has the moral authority to take that away. None. Zero zilch. Please tell Senator Portantino to go up and kill this bill, put it in inactive status, whatever he has to do, because now you're stepping on parental rights.
Yes.
You're stepping on them. What point? And at what point are they gonna start taking our children away because it's not a parental right anymore? At what point? Are they becoming that tyrannical that they're gonna do that? Lord, I hope not, because then we have lost the state of California completely. That is is the main thing. I am a Christian. I believe that people have the right to choose, but I also believe that they have the right to go to God and say, okay, I'm having an issue with this. Don't take away my pastor's right to talk to them, nor give the lawyers an opportunity to sue everybody that they talk to. Because you know as well as I do that the lawyers will step in and use it to make money. That's wrong. That's using what those people are going through to create money for themselves. So the lawyers should not have the chance to do that, because that is totally wrong also. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Can you give me 1 second? I listen, but I have to put down the
Thank you.
thoughts.
Please.
I agree with you. My parents let me be a tomboy.
I'm still a tomboy.
And Raul, how many states where there's an attempt to ban these reparative therapies? How many states?
20 states have rejected
Already 20.
this.
Yeah. Okay.
Almost half.
Yes. And the movement's growing.
Yeah, they just found out about it.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Hi, my name is Patricia Valencia. I'm from the Monrovia area. There's really not much I can add. I spoke beautiful. Everything's being pointed out. But I do want to say thank you because you're taking the time to write it down. You're more like the reporter to Portantino. But
That's what my
there's-
job is.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that you cannot write down, and I appreciate it. But I've just asked one thing to Mr. Portantino, to please take the time to just view the video. I mean, it's gonna go
Share
on
this.
the website. Yeah, if you could share it.
Yeah, I'm telling everybody, please share this video. This
Yeah,
is going all over the
it
country.
takes the time. I mean, there's a lot of good points that they said is amazing. It is not the same as reading it than hearing it from their voices. So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming.
All right. I really appreciate it. I wanted to be the last. I'm not a constituent directly, but I am a citizen of the state of California. And my name's Arthur. I am the organization director for MassResistance. Our group is an international group. Okay, we have chapters now in Nigeria. We have chapters in the United Kingdom. We are growing chapters across the country, Maryland and North Carolina, as well as Oregon, Washington State, and here. We were active to delay Senate Bill 1146, which would have essentially shut down every Christian college in the state of California, and we were able to delay and stop that from happening. And now we're focusing on this. I am absolutely totally in concert with whatever we're talking about here. This is a flagrant violation of the First Amendment. It will not survive a court challenge. I can tell you right now, as was mentioned with the court case, Nemla versus Becerra. Our Attorney General has a terrible track record. He picks fights that he doesn't win because he's undermining our rights. This bill, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has already indicated that there's no special class of professional speech that can be limited, that can be subjected to censorship or ultimately silenced. If this bill passes, I guarantee there will not only be a lawsuit, it will go all the way to the Supreme Court, and you will see conversion therapy bans across the state being revoked entirely. What's already happened in 20 states will become the law of the land, rather a reaffirmation of the First Amendment. It's offensive that it's called conversion therapy. That's actually a term that the LGBT agenda came up with to make it seem like somebody is and then becomes something else. You're born a boy, you are a boy. You've talked to two tomboys. They're lovely women now who have had children. They grow out of it. It's a phase. The title of the bill, Abusive Practices About Changing Sexual Orientation. It's not an abusive practice to help somebody want to live their life. Homosexuals, their lifespan is cut by an average of 20%. In Los Angeles County, we have seen headline upon headline by the quote-unquote liberal press of venereal disease becoming syndemic. It has become widespread. You have 1 in 4 homosexuals having gonorrhea, or syphilis. This is a serious health issue. And anything that would prevent people from getting out of these lifestyles is basically putting them on the fast track to a lifetime of pain and even death. Individuals who struggle with gender dysphoria, do you know what the suicide rate is among those individuals? 40%. 40. These are people who need help. And I don't hate anybody, okay? This isn't about hate. It's about love. Helping people to break free of behaviors and identity confusion is a loving thing. And it is wrong to take that away. Here's one testimony I want to read. Okay, this is from Massachusetts. Reparative therapy saved my life. I was one of those 5-year-old boys who was sexually abused. Very often, homosexual feelings arise in puberty because of sexual abuse. I didn't know how to deal with those issues. The vast majority of people who struggle with gender dysphoria or same-sex attraction have been the victims of abuse. To ban a therapy that would allow them to get to the core and ultimately to stop the abuse is just unconscionable. This will kill people. And, you know, because of this therapy, it's led to people who've committed these crimes getting caught, arrested, convicted. We want these perverts off our streets. You ban this practice, these are perverts who will never get caught. They'll get away with it. Okay? This will kill victims and it will protect perpetrators. That's how serious this is. And I love that Raul brought up 20 states have banned this. Massachusetts is not exactly a red state. It's probably blue. It is bluer, actually, than California. They have 40 senators. Only 7 of them are Republicans. Why don't you think about that? Only 7. But even in that state, a ban on conversion therapy, reparative therapy, failed. There is a change of attitude in this country. People are waking up. The LGBT movement is based on lies. I will call them out right now. Especially on reparative therapy. This is what I've heard out of the mouth of Evan Lowe, the assemblyman who pushed this. And I'm sorry for whatever abuse he went through, but now he's abusing all of us, gay or straight, transgender or cisgender, whatever the term is. It's now abusing all of us, and it is wrong. To push this bill, activists in California have conducted a lobby campaign of disinformation and manufactured hysteria, labeling it conversion therapy. Reparative is the proper word. It's about repairing proper identity. Here are the lies, and you need to know this because a lot of people just don't know. I'm sure maybe Mr. Portantino doesn't even know. Senator, they lie and claim that people have been electrocuted or they've had vinegar shoved in their faces. That's not reparative therapy. In fact, anybody who does that should be prosecuted. Anybody claiming to be a counselor who abuses a child, that is a crime. Reparative therapy does none of that stuff. None. There is the research, the argument that the therapy creates depression. That's not true. People not getting help leads to the depression. An adult who struggles with their identity, that creates depression, that they can't get help, that they can't talk to somebody. Now, this is the last part, because I know there's a long list of these institutions which claim to oppose reparative therapy, and they call it destructive. Here's the truth. Let's start with there's the diagnostic manual, the DSM. It was the LGBT lobby that bullied, shamed, and pressured the leadership of that community to remove homosexuality as a destructive behavior from the DSM. That's the only reason. It's not because it wasn't destructive, it's because they were bullied into doing it. The American Psychological Association, they spoke at the judiciary hearing in the Assembly and probably in the state Senate. They have gone on record. They were bullied, harassed, and pushed around by the LGBT. I call them the hate machine because it's hatred to do this. That's the only reason why. Any doctor worth his salt will tell you that transgenderism, homosexuality, these are behaviors that are destructive and will cut a lifespan short. A doctor in Massachusetts was a urologist, Dr. Paul Church. He had no choice. He took an oath to do no harm, and he told his patients, if you engage in this conduct, you are cutting your lifespan short. You know what happened to him, though, in Massachusetts? He was fired. This bill will lead to more qualified, caring professionals also getting fired, and that is wrong. As Patricia pointed out, there's a lot of information here. That's why these are for you. Especially, and I will end with this, all of these institutions, they say whatever they want. And also follow the money. I think someone mentioned that. Okay, they get lots of money. Special interests are committed to. Big pharma loves transgenderism because they sell the hormones and make big money off of children's pain and adults' pain, and that's wrong. We need to put the needs of Californians, of children first, and we need to allow people to seek the help they need, and we need to stop with the lies. This bill is based on lies, and so this is what I'm asking concretely. Senator Portantino has the power. It must be reduced to the inactive file, and everybody needs to send a nice message to Assemblyman Lowe. We are not taking this up, and kill it. And we need an announcement on that as soon as possible. And I would go one step further. This state banned reparative therapy for minors. I want that repealed, because your granddaughter would not have gotten help if she was in this state because of that. So I would like that to be noted as well at the next session, because I know it's too late to introduce legislation. I want the ban on reparative therapy for minors, I want that repealed in the state of California, because we have children who are suffering. The foster kids. We're in LA County. There have been massive foster abuses now. And you know that's going to contribute to sexual dysfunction and gender dysphoria. So I please ask that you please make a note to the state senator. You have this here, but I want reparative.
I
Oh,
don't
go
want
ahead.
you to leave, but I do want to listen to him because I don't.
Of course,
think
because
he
he
had a
hasn't
chance.
spoken yet. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
So-
alright.
Wait, let me just finish with.
And
this.
I'm sorry, Chris. Thank you for being patient. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so it's like, I want the ban on reparative therapy for minors repealed. I want this bill killed. Evan Lowe needs to get a nice message, or a very assertive message. We're not taking this up. You do not get to step on the rights of parents, churches, pastors, pediatricians, and deny hurting people the right for help, psychologists. And you've got people the girls who live like boys and they grow out of it. That's very common. I don't.
Very common.
It's normal, in fact. That's how they figure out their identity. And now they want to take it away. Sorry, Chris. Thanks for letting me speak.
Okay, did it start? Okay, just give me 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Christopher Trent. I live in Lake Forest, California, which is in Orange County. I respect everyone's rights, and I hope this terrible bill gets turned down. That's why I love everyone so much, regardless of gay, lesbian, transgenders, and so on. Yeah. And we have to stand up to this. And put people first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
What's your name?
Christopher
Christopher, last name?
Trin, T-R-I-N-H.
Thank you, Christopher.
You're welcome.
Can I make just one more point that I forgot to mention?
Yes.
I'd like to encourage Senator Anthony Portantino to go to his colleagues in the Senate and to ask every one of them to turn this bill down. It's important that he, as a senator that opposes this bill, that he try to confront all the senators and even the assemblymen to turn this bill down. It's unconstitutional. Thank you.
I'd just like to ask one thing. If there is something that we can do to help the senator in accomplishing this, please do not
Let us
hesitate
know.
to get a hold of Robin or people. We would be glad to be actively participating in consort with him.
I think the only thing that I would suggest is for those of you who he does not represent, to also share your voice and concerns with your own elected member. Most of you, I think, are under our representation.
Yes.
So that's fine, but I think there was a couple of you that weren't. So that is what I would suggest.
Wonderful. Please clarify, I heard from the Secretary of the State Senate today that the author of the bill, that would be Evan Lowe, that he has no power anymore over the bill. Doesn't he have the authority to withdraw it?
Oh, yeah.
Does he? Could you clarify that?
I do believe he can.
So he could just simply make the statement saying, I don't want to go further with this?
There's a couple of different options. I think it can also be turned into a 2-year bill, which means it wouldn't take that vote.
It would get shelved. That's the term I believe
Right.
we use. Okay.
Um,
Well, I don't want that. We
I
want
don't
it
know
dead.
where he
Shelved
would
isn't
go.
good enough, to be honest with
I mean,
you.
I can't comment on what he plans, what he thinks.
Just what he
what his
can,
options
what's legally
are.
possible within the rules. So he could stop it. It could be put on this. It could be put on a suspense file, I
He
believe they
can
call
make
it.
it into a 2-year bill.
Okay, that's not good enough. The senator must assert this bill should never have even been introduced. So many people who have struggled with these issues and have been set free have testified at the Capitol in large numbers. And for their voices to be ignored is wrong. Their voices need to count, as do the voices of the people in this room.
I think whatever committee any bill goes through, one of the best things to do is not just go and speak with the chair,
Yes.
but also go to the individual members, committee members, not only your own representative, but also the committee members on that committee. That way, it's not just one person having heard your voice. You've got all of your members on those committees hearing your voice.
One thing I'd like to add too is I think that you can tell by this group that many of us have been touched by someone in our own
Personally.
families. We have a personal connection. I also had an uncle who was gay. Didn't change how we felt about him, how we loved him. My granddaughter is going through great therapy now, and she's able to talk to her parents now. She's able to share her story. What she does with the rest of her life is in her hands. But we, as a family, would be banned from even discussing it with her. And that's the problem here, is we need...
Sometimes unintended consequences come into play.
Yes.
This is full of unintended. It would
Thank
ban the Bible. This legislation would ban the Bible, the sale of it. The legislators have looked, Pacific Justice Institute has looked at this. This is so egregious. It's opening up so many problems, including automatic lawsuits. And this state is in so much red ink. We have roads in disrepair. We have veterans that are homeless. We have public safety problems that require financial as well as policy attention. For it to be wasted on unconstitutional bills is not
The
acceptable.
next step for the bill officially is it's up for a Senate floor vote. Is that where it's at, the bill?
Yes, I can tell you. I spoke to the secretary. I'm not
Sure,
to be
sure, go
disrespectful,
ahead.
but I'm just filling you in, and not to disrespect, because I have to call every single day and to find out what's going on, because the website doesn't bring everything up to speed automatically. It is up for a floor. It's at the third reading right now, which means a floor
We
vote.
still have a senator present it to the floor.
That's
and
right.
so far, that has not happened, and we're hoping it doesn't happen.
That's it.
That no senator will pick this up to present on the Senate floor.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. for
Thank you.
listening.
So, and don't forget the talk, please. Please share that with the state senator. All right. If you have a mass resistance sign, I'll take it back. Just for now. All right,
No,
folks.
90 minutes, first 90 minutes are free.
What is that?
This is how you do it, folks.
Did we make it?
This is how you do it.
Surrender?
Thank you.
Yes, if we can walk over there at 5:15.